Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are doing fine. From today's video, we will start the new chapter, that is human reproduction. As we all know, reproduction is nothing but the process of giving birth to the young ones. We call it as reproduction. Okay, where one organism is giving birth to the new offsprings, right? So humans, as we all know, humans are sexually reproducing organisms, right? So there are male as well as female sexes present in the human beings, right? And since human beings, they give birth to younger ones, that is why we call it as viviparous, where the newborn or the zygote, it will develop inside the womb of the mother, right? And the mother will give birth to the young ones. So since we are unisexual organisms where male and female organisms are different, right? So they are individual organisms, we can categorize our reproductive system as male reproductive system and female reproductive system. So first we will start with the male reproductive system. So male reproductive system, it consists of paired testes, accessory ducts, accessory glands, external genitalia. And in the accessory ducts, it is retate testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vasa deferens. And accessory glands consist of prostate gland, seminal vesicles, Cowper's glands or bulbourethral gland. So one by one we will study what are their uses and what are their function. Okay, so this is very important concept and we will start by one. So first one is paired testes. So testes are the primary sex organs that produce sperms and testosterone. Okay, so testes are nothing but these are the primary sex organs that produce sperms and testosterone. And testes are formed within the abdomen. Okay, so they are formed within the abdomen region. So soon after the birth or the 8th month of pregnancy, they descend into the scrotal sac or scrotum through the inguinal canal. So as we all know that testis, the scrotum which is present, it maintains low temperature about 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, so for the formation of sperms or spermatogenesis, the low body temperature, that is 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius temperature is needed. That is the reason the scrotum, it will help for the proper functioning of the testis and for the spermatogenesis. So the testes, they descend into the scrotal sac or the scrotum. Okay, so here testis, it is thus, as we all know, it is the primary sex organ and it produces the sperms and testosterone. So ಅದು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಸೊ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿರಬೇಕು 2 to 2.5 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೋ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ಗಿಂತನೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್. ಸೊ ಅಷ್ಟಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಸ್ಕಾಟಮ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ it is like a sac-like structure. And each testis, that is pair of testis meaning 2 testis will be present, and each testis will be oval in shape, and length will be about 4 to 5 centimeter and width will be about 2 to 3 centimeter. So each testis, it is having 250 testicular lobules and 1 to 3 coiled seminiferous tubules or seminiferous tubules. And seminiferous tubules, they are lined internally with spermatogenic cells, spermatogonia or male germ cells, and Sertoli cells, which are supporting cells. So Sertoli cells give shape and nourishment to developing spermatogonia. So as you can see, there are seminiferous tubules, right? So there are seminiferous tubules. 250 testicular lobules will be there. So 250 testicular lobules irtav. So testicular lobules. So adralli ಏನಿರ್ತಾವೆ ಸೆಮಿನಿಫೆರಸ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ at least 2 to 3 ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಸೆಮಿನಿಫೆರಸ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ. ಈಚ್ ಒಂದು ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೋಬ್ಯೂಲ್ಸಲ್ಲೂ 2 to 3 ಸೆಮಿನಿಫೆರಸ್ ಆರ್ 1 to 3 ಸೆಮಿನಿಫೆರಸ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ this way it is arranged, and seminiferous tubules is lined. So ಎಲ್ಲ seminiferous tubules ಎಷ್ಟಿರ್ತಾವೋ they are lined internally with spermatogenic cells, that is male cells, spermatogonia, that you can see here. So ಒಂದೊಂದು seminiferous tubule, so there is spermatogonium, so there is Sertoli cells that gives nourishment, support ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ. Okay, so Sertoli cells, okay, and then this makes the seminiferous tubules, right? So Sertoli cells give shape and nourishment to the developing spermatogonia. So paired testis, the region outside the seminiferous tubules. So igala seminiferous tubules, there are many 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules are there. In that spermatogonia and sperms will develop, right? So outside that, what will be there? There will be interstitial cells, there will be capillaries, blood capillaries. Okay, so immunologically competent cells, which are very important, they will be there outside the seminiferous tubules. Okay, so Leydig cells, they will secrete the testicular hormones, that is androgens. Okay, so next, this is about paired testes. So then what are accessory ducts? So accessory ducts or accessory duct system, it consists of rete testis, which are irregular cavities present. Okay, so here you can see where the rete testis is present, so kind of cavities, so we call it as rete testis. And vasa efferentia, which are series of fine tubules. So where is vasa efferentia? You can see here. So vasa efferentia, series of tubule-like structure, right? And fine tubules. Epididymis, which stores the sperms temporarily. So for temporarily, it acts as the storage of the sperms. So you can see where is epididymis. Okay, so epididymis head is there, tail of epididymis, body of epididymis. Okay, so this is all epididymis, which stores the sperm temporarily. And then vasa deferens. So where is vasa deferens? Here it is vasa deferens. Okay, so vasa deferens cell join ಆಗ್ತದೆ. So vasa deferens joins with the ducts of seminal vesicle to form the common ejaculatory duct. Okay, so how these ducts are arranged we have seen. So we will see the conduction of sperms through accessory ducts, how they are conducted. So first seminiferous tubules, then rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vasa deferens, common ejaculatory duct that will form, and then urethra, and then urethral meatus. So here you can see first, so where the seminiferous tubules are present, so these are seminiferous tubules. Okay, and then rete testis. So seminiferous tubules, if the sperms and they are formed, then they will go to rete testis. Okay, then vasa efferentia. So vasa efferentia, so here. Okay, so these are vasa efferentia. And then epididymis. So where are epididymis? Here. So they will temporarily store the sperms, right? So epididymis, and then vasa deferentia. So where is vasa deferentia? Vasa deferentia, and then common ejaculatory duct. So through this common ejaculatory duct that is formed, you can see common ejaculatory duct, and then urethra, common ejaculatory duct, urethra, and urethral meatus. Like this, the sperms are conducted through the accessory duct. So the urethra receives the ducts of the prostate and Cowper's glands and passes through the penis. Okay, so this is about the accessory duct. We have seen the rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis and vasa deferens that make the accessory duct. So paired testis we saw the accessory ducts. Now we'll see what are accessory glands. So accessory glands, they include a pair of seminal vesicles, right? So the pair of seminal vesicles which are present here, a pair of prostate gland and a pair of Cowper's or bulbourethral gland. So their collective secretion is called as seminal plasma. So all together whatever they secrete, that we call it as seminal plasma. So which is rich in fructose, calcium and enzymes. So seminal plasma that mixes with the sperm, then we call it as semen, so which is also important. So seminal plasma and it mixes with the sperm and then we call it as semen. Okay, so whatever the ducts that we have seen, so that and glands all together, they act together to form the semen, right? Then we'll move to what are the functions of seminal plasma. So seminal plasma help in transporting the sperms and it supplies the nutrients to the sperms and it provides alkalinity to counteract the acidity of the uterus. So uterus of the female, it will be acidic in the nature. So for that, when the semen goes in contact with the uterus, so that is why to balance the acidity, so the it provides the alkalinity. Okay, so secretion of Cowper's gland lubricate the penis. That means for the good interaction. Okay, so it secretion of Cowper's gland, it will help. So secretion of epididymis, vasa deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate help for the maturation and motility of the sperms. These secretions of whatever epididymis or vasa deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate, they help in maturation and motility of the sperms. Okay, so that you have to remember. So what are the functions of the accessory glands? So next comes the penis, which is the external genitalia. So it is a copulatory organ. Okay, it is made up of special erectile spongy tissue. So when spongy tissue is filled with blood, the penis erects and facilitate the insemination. The cone shaped tip of the penis is called as glans penis. It is covered by prepuce, that is foreskin. Okay, so these things you have to remember. So there will be a special erectile spongy tissue, and when the spongy tissue, when it is filled with the blood, then the penis, it erects. Okay, it facilitates the insemination, that is transfer of the semen. Okay, and then the cone shaped tip of the penis, we call it as glans penis, and it is covered by prepuce or the foreskin. Okay, so this is about the male reproductive organ. So as we have seen how it is arranged and what is the function. So it consists of, again, paired testis we have seen. So what it is consist of: accessory ducts we saw, vasa efferentia, rete testis, epididymis, vasa deferens, and accessory gland, that is prostate gland, seminal vesicles and bulbourethral gland and external genitalia. Okay, now we will study about female reproductive system. So female reproductive system consists of paired ovaries, accessory ducts and external genitalia. So accessory ducts, again, they consist of oviducts, that is fallopian tubules, uterus and vagina. And what is external genitalia? They consist of mons pubis, vestibule, hymen and clitoris. Okay, one by one we will study. So paired ovaries. So as we have seen, the testes were the primary sex organs. Like that, the paired ovaries are the primary sex organs which produce ova, that is female gamete, and steroid ovarian hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. So very important. So they produce estrogen and progesterone hormones, and each ovary is about how much in length? 2 to 4 centimeter in length. They are located on both sides of the lower abdomen and connected to the pelvic wall and uterus by the ligaments. So they are connected by the ligaments, pelvic wall and the uterus by the ligaments. So ligaments, as you know, they are connective tissue, right? So they are connected by the ligaments. So you may get them as a option, multiple choice options, right? So you have to remember. So they are located on the both side of the lower abdomen and connected to the pelvic wall and uterus by the ligaments. Okay, so paired ovaries. Each ovary, it is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. So it is consist of a thin epithelium which covers the ovarian stroma, and the stroma has the outer cortex and inner medulla. So stroma has the outer cortex and inner medulla, and ovary contains group of cells, we call it as Graafian follicles, and each follicle carries a centrally placed ovum. Okay, so you can see, so there is a cortex. Okay, so the uterus is present, fallopian tube is here, ovaries are situated here, right? So here it is one ovary and here it is one ovary. So both the ovaries, when you enlarge, it will be seen like this. So here it is the entry, vagina, and here you can see the follicles are formed. Okay, so the centrally placed ovum or the egg you can see here. Okay, so you have to remember, ovary contains the group of cells, we call it as Graafian follicles. Okay, so next comes this is about the paired ovaries. Okay, so what it contains? So it is just containing whatever you have to just see. Stroma has the outer cortex, medulla and Graafian follicles, you have to remember. Next, accessory ducts. They are consist of two oviducts or the fallopian tubules, uterus, that is womb, and then the vagina. So you can see vagina here, and uterine cavity and uterus where the womb we can say. Okay, so that you can see, and the fallopian tubules obviously. Okay, so fallopian tubule, and each fallopian tubule is consisting of infundibulum, ampulla and isthmus. Okay, these are the accessory ducts. So one by one we will study. So oviduct or the fallopian tubule. So each oviduct is 10 to 12 centimeter long. So each fallopian tubule or the oviduct is how much? It is 10 to 12 centimeter long. It has three parts: infundibulum, ampulla and isthmus, right? Infundibulum is nothing but which is funnel shaped, right? Opening with the many finger like fimbriae. Okay, finger like projections, we call it as fimbriae. It helps to collect the ovum. So whatever the ovary, so here the egg or the ovum is produced, no? So it is just like a finger like projection that will help in collecting the ovum, right? So ovum. So ampulla, which is a wider part, and isthmus, which is a narrow part which joins the uterus, as you can see here. So here infundibulum, which collects the ovum. Okay, and then ampulla, which is wider part, it helps in transfer, and isthmus, which is a narrow part, and it will help in connecting it to the uterus, right? So the ciliated epithelium. So as we all know, ciliated epithelium, it helps in the movement, right? So ciliated epithelium, which line the lumen of the oviduct, drives the ovum towards the uterus. So ovum has to move towards the uterus, no? So that is why it is lined by ciliated epithelium. So which is very, very important. Okay, multiple choice, you can get it. Okay, so drives the ovum towards the uterus, which helps in the movement of this ovum or the egg towards the uterus. So these things you have to remember. So what is uterus? Uterus is nothing but it is womb. So it is inverted pear shaped. Okay, you can see it is inverted pear shaped. It is supported by ligaments attached to the pelvic wall, as we have studied. So uterus has three parts, that is upper fundus, middle body and the terminal cervix. So what is it is consisting of? So uterus, it has three parts. Okay, it is consisting of upper fundus, middle body and the terminal cervix. So you can see here there is a cervix which is terminal. Okay, so then it is having upper fundus, there is uterus cavity, and then middle body, which is endometrium, myometrium, perimetrium. Okay, so perimetrium is the external thin membrane, myometrium, which is, these are the uterine walls, you should remember. Myometrium, which is middle thick layer of the smooth muscle, and endometrium, which is inner glandular and vascular in nature. Okay, so this you can see. And next comes the vagina. So it is just a open to the exterior between the urethra and anus. So you can see here, which vagina, it opens to exterior between the urethra and anus, right? And then it is just a opening. Okay, so the lumen of the vagina is linked by glycogen rich mucous membrane consisting of sensitive papillae and Bartholin's glands. The secretion of Bartholin's glands lubricate the penis during the sexual act. Okay, so that you have to remember. So what is the function of the Bartholin's gland? Okay, so next, it consists of mons pubis, vestibule, hymen and clitoris. So what is the external vagina it consists of? You should remember it consists of mons pubis, vestibule, hymen and clitoris. So mons pubis is nothing but a cushion of fatty tissue covered by pubic hair. Okay, and then vestibule is nothing but a median channel which includes labia majora, which is large, fleshy, flat and hairy outer folds surround the vaginal opening, and labia minora, which is small, thin and hairless inner folds. We call it as labia minora. And then hymen. So a membrane which partially covered with vaginal opening. It is often torn during the first coitus. So hymen may also be broken by a sudden fall or jolt and insertion of vaginal tampon or active participation in some sports, etc. Okay, so if some women hymen persist even after the coitus. Okay, so hymen is not the reliable indicator of virginity. So hymen may break down where the woman will be highly participating in the sports or highly doing exercise or any kind of stretching exercises, right? So it is not the indication of the virginity. Okay, so next comes the clitoris, which is highly sensitive organ lying just in front of the urethral opening. So where there is urethral opening, there the clitoris, so it will just lie towards it, right? So this is about the vagina. So whatever we have learned, you have to remember, and you can refer to your NCERT and make notes and compare the points with this. And I have covered almost all the NCERT points here. Okay, so next we will move on to the mammary glands. Okay, so a pair of mammary glands contain glandular tissue and fat. Okay, so glandular tissue of each breast has about 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing cluster of cells that are mammary alveoli. So the cells of alveoli secretes milk. It is stored in the cavities lumen of alveoli. So you can see, so the pair of mammary glands which is consisting of glandular tissue and fat, okay, and 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing clusters of mammary alveoli, that you have to remember, and the cells of the alveoli that will secrete the milk, and it is stored in the cavities or lumen of the alveoli. So you can see here where the alveoli are present. Okay, so the alveoli open into the mammary tubules. The tubules of each lobe join to form the mammary duct. So several mammary ducts join to form the wider mammary ampulla, which is connected to the lactiferous duct through which the milk is sucked out. Okay, so first mammary alveoli, mammary tubule, mammary duct, mammary ampulla and lactiferous duct. Sequence of milk, how it is conducted. Okay, so that you have to observe. And here you can see there is a fat tissue, right, and there are alveoli which secrete the milk, and then they are stored in the cavities of the alveoli or lumen of the alveoli. Okay, so the tubules of each lobe join to form the mammary duct. Okay, alveoli open into mammary tubules. Okay, alveoli they open into the mammary tubules, that you can see secondary mammary tubule. Okay, so that you can see, and several mammary ducts join to form a wider mammary ampulla. So you can see here they are joined here, so which we call it as mammary ampulla, right, which connected to the lactiferous ducts to which the milk is sucked out. And this is the sequence of milk conduction. Okay, so this is what the male and female reproductive system in brief. Okay, so we studied about male reproductive system and female reproductive system, and from next video we will start with gametogenesis. So revise this video. Thank you so much.